Okay, Dahlia. Here we go. I'm just going to talk you through the changes I think you need. You should have a comma here after Quaron. Uh, you need to, instead of using quotation marks here, you need to italicize the title of the film. So take these out and italicize. I would say here this franchise is based on the novels, and here centers around the character of instead of is about. I wouldn't use this phrase, but I would say it's centered about Sirius Black. We don't really. Here, you might want to put very brief interaction because they barely make contact with each other. You might want to say animagus here if you want to. And here, just for the kind of to follow the formal codes of it, you might want to put in brackets Daniel Radcliffe, just to show that you know who the actor is. And for the other actors as well, for Stan Shumpike, it's just proper form to name the actors as well, but carry on referring to him as Harry throughout. I hear it's a dull, dark and eerie with low key lighting, low dash key lighting. Yeah, can you say something about that? Why does this happen? I'm not sure myself, but see if you can unpack that a bit. Yeah, that's not an overhead shot, that's a point of view shot. So when Harry looks up towards the lamp, Quaron uses an overhead shot. And I don't think that's a jump cut. You might say cutting quickly to the lamp. And I think you're right. This fast cut implies that something is about to happen. Yeah, good. I wouldn't say each of. We hear the playground equipment. I wouldn't say each of. We hear the playground equipment. I don't think they are. Each of the individual playground equipment are zoomed into. What I would say is that camera throughout this sequence, the camera is in motion, which creates a sense of instability for the audience, as if circumstances could change at any moment. Name some of the equipment. So you could talk about how the roundabout moves around slowly. You could talk about how the seesaw. I mean, that's fine. You mentioned the seesaw, but you should probably talk about the roundabout. Let's talk about the Foley sound of the bang. Let's stick that in there. Build up the atmosphere and keep the audience in a state of suspense. However, it is lower in the mix than the sound of the playground equipment. Okay, rather than saying is quiet compared to, and I would say complement, complement here. This idea implied to be who readers of the novels will recognize as Sirius Black's animagus. Now, this thing you're saying is an interaction. It's not much of an interaction. The cross-cutting between Harry and Sirius, then the camera zooms in. Now you need to talk about what this means. The slow zoom, or actually I think it's the camera moving. Let's just have a look rather than a zoom. I think it's tracking in on them. So much of this is tracking shots rather than zooms. You see, that's tracking in, it's not zooming in. Here's what we're talking about with the roundabout. More of a thud than a bang, I'd say. That's tracking. Yeah, so the camera's on a track. Okay, and what it's doing is it's giving this idea that there's kind of inexorable pull between the two characters, that they're coming together, and there's an irony in this, because at this stage, for an audience, it's being played out as a very threatening connection, as if Harry's going to be unable to escape this character. And of course, as we know, later in the film and later in the story, we realise that actually Sirius Black is a good character and a positive character and a very important character to Harry. So I think you want to make that point, starting with the idea of the camera tracks. Yeah, so it cross cuts between the shots and with the camera gradually tracking towards the two of them. Yeah, so when the bus arrives, the tone of the scene is changed as the tone of the scene shifts as the music changes from serious, uncanny, intense to quick. Okay. Well, we aren't really introduced to many new characters, are we? So let's not say that. The first character Harry encounters is Stan Shunpike, and here I would put the name of the actor in brackets. I don't know who he is. I think you should call him Stan, not Stanley. And I wouldn't say overhead and worm's eye. I would talk about low angle and high angle. So you could say in the shot reverse shot between Stan and Harry, Stan is shown in a low angle shot and Harry in a high angle shot, which emphasizes their status at this point in the scene. And by that I mean Stan's in charge, isn't he? He's in charge, and Harry is baffled and confused. I think you should also talk about mise en scène, about Stan's costume, because even though he's sort of in charge at this point, there's a sense that he is he's not shaved, and his hat is too big for him and on at the wrong angle, and his jacket's too big for him, and there's a sense that he is what's the word I'm looking for? He could be unreliable, that he's not necessarily the best bus conductor. There's a sort of message in here about him. And again, isn't it true that he gets does he get killed or does he get recruited